Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Paper Podcast, the podcast where you learn English naturally through conversations, ideas, and practical techniques. My name is Emma, and I'm really happy you're here today. If you are learning English and sometimes feel like this happens to you, you hear a question in English, but your brain first translates it into your native language. Then you think about the answer. Then you translate your answer back into English. And by the time you finally speak, the conversation has already moved on. If that sounds familiar, today's episode is exactly what you need. Because today we are going to talk about something very important for English learners: how to think in English. Thinking in English is one of the biggest turning points in your language journey. When you start thinking directly in English, something amazing happens. Your speaking becomes faster, your confidence grows, conversations feel natural, and suddenly English stops feeling like a school subject and starts feeling like a real language you can live in. So, in this episode, we're going to explore why thinking in English is important, why most learners struggle with it, the biggest mistakes learners make, practical exercises you can do every day, step-by-step methods to train your brain, and simple habits that will completely transform your English thinking. So, grab a cup of tea, relax, and let's begin. First, let's understand something important. Many learners imagine that thinking in English means having perfect grammar in your mind all the time. That is not true. Thinking in English simply means your brain processes ideas directly in English instead of translating from another language. For example, imagine you are walking outside and suddenly you see dark clouds. A learner who translates might think like this: dark clouds. Okay, what is that in English? Clouds, maybe rain. Maybe I should say it might rain soon. But someone who thinks directly in English will simply think, looks like it's going to rain. No translation, no delay, just natural thought. And this is exactly how native speakers think. But here is the good news. You don't need to be a native speaker to do this. You simply need training. And that's what we will talk about today. Now, let's talk about why translation happens. Most people learn English in school in a very traditional way. They memorize vocabulary lists, they study grammar rules, they translate sentences. For example, dog equals translation, apple equals translation, house equals translation. So the brain builds a system like this: English word, native language, meaning. But fluent speakers use a different system: English word, image, idea. For example, when you hear the word apple, you should immediately imagine the fruit, the color, the taste, the shape, not a translation. That's why children learn languages faster than adults. Children connect words to experience, not translation. So our goal is to train our brain to work the same way. One big mistake learners make is trying to think complex sentences too early. You don't need to start with long sentences. Start simple, very simple. For example, imagine you are sitting in your room. You can think things like, the room is quiet. My phone is on the table. I feel a little tired. The weather is hot today. These simple thoughts train your brain to create English automatically. Try this exercise. Look around you and describe 5 things in English in your mind. For example, the chair is brown. The window is open. My laptop is charging. This might feel strange at first, but after a few days, your brain will start doing it automatically. Now, I want to share one of the most powerful techniques for thinking in English. It's called daily narration. This means you describe your actions in English while you are doing them. For example, imagine you are making coffee. Your thoughts might be like this: I'm going to make some coffee. I need hot water. Where is the sugar? Oh, the coffee smells good. These are natural thoughts, and this exercise trains your brain to create English instantly. You can do this anywhere, while cooking, while driving, while walking, while cleaning your room. You simply narrate your life in English. At first, your sentences might be very simple, but slowly they become more detailed. For example, I'm walking to the store. The street is crowded. I think it might rain later. This technique is incredibly powerful because it connects English with real life. Another important step is to stop learning vocabulary through translation. Instead, learn words through context and images. For example, instead of learning delicious equals translation, think like this. Imagine a hot pizza. Imagine chocolate cake. Imagine your favorite food. Then connect the word delicious. Your brain now understands the word directly. You can also use English definitions. For example, curious, meaning someone who wants to learn or know more about something. This method builds English to English thinking. This might sound funny, but talking to yourself is one of the best speaking practices, and many fluent learners do it. Imagine you are explaining your day to yourself. You can say, "Today was a busy day. I had a lot of work, but I learned something interesting." Or you can ask yourself questions. What should I cook today? Should I watch a movie or read a book? This creates a natural internal conversation, and it helps you practice speaking without fear of mistakes. Another great technique is asking yourself questions in English. For example, what am I doing today? What do I want to learn? What is my goal this month? Then answer in English. This exercise is powerful because real conversations are full of questions and answers. So when you practice this, you prepare your brain for real communication. Movies and YouTube videos can also help you train your thinking, but you must use them correctly. When watching something in English, pause sometimes and ask yourself, what just happened? Then explain it in English. For example, the character is looking for his friend. They are arguing. He looks nervous. This transforms passive watching into active thinking. One of the biggest obstacles to thinking in English is perfectionism. Many learners think, my grammar must be perfect. But that's not how thinking works. Even native speakers think in incomplete sentences. Sometimes thoughts are just fragments. For example, too hot today. Need coffee. Where are my keys? So don't worry about perfect grammar while thinking. Fluency comes before perfection. Another powerful strategy is creating a small English environment in your daily life. You can do simple things like change your phone language to English, follow English YouTube channels, listen to English podcasts, read short articles in English. The more English your brain sees and hears, the more natural thinking becomes. Your brain slowly accepts English as a normal language. Here is a simple daily routine you can try. Set a timer for 5 minutes. During those 5 minutes, you must think only in English. You can think about anything, your plans, your memories, your goals, your opinions. If you forget a word, describe it. For example, instead of saying the translation for umbrella, you can think the thing people use when it rains. This forces your brain to stay inside English. Many learners ask this question, how long will it take before I can think in English? The honest answer is, it depends on your practice. If you practice these techniques daily, many learners start noticing changes in 2 or 3 months. At first, only small thoughts happen in English, then short sentences, then longer ideas. Eventually, you realize something surprising. You are thinking in English without trying, and that moment is incredibly exciting. Remember something important. Your brain is incredibly adaptable. It can learn new patterns, but it needs repetition. The more you practice thinking in English, the more natural it becomes, just like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, it feels impossible. Then slowly, balance appears, and one day you realize you are riding effortlessly. The same thing happens with English thinking. So today, we talked about why thinking in English is important, why translation slows you down, and practical exercises to train your brain. Remember these key ideas. Start with simple thoughts. Describe your daily life. Ask yourself questions. Use images instead of translation. Practice every day. Fluency is not magic. It's a habit, and every small moment of thinking in English builds your confidence and speed. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today on the English Paper Podcast. I hope this episode helps you feel more confident about thinking in English and improving your fluency step by step. If you enjoyed this episode and want more content to improve your English through stories, conversations, and practical lessons, please like this video, subscribe, and support the English Paper YouTube channel. Your support helps this channel grow and helps more learners around the world improve their English. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep thinking in English. I'm Emma, and this has been the English Paper Podcast. See you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.